What is going on, y'all? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Here in today's video, I will be giving a little bit of a preview for this Ravens versus Bills divisional matchup in the playoffs. You know, earlier in the week, I did a kind of post game, my thoughts on the Ravens versus Titans game. So now this week, I'll be giving a preview of the Bills game and kind of what my expectations are for the game. My first thought about this game, you know, really mainly I think this game's going to come down to whether or not the Ravens can contain Josh Allen. In the Colts game, we saw Josh Allen getting out of the pocket and making a ton of plays, which really killed the Colts. Josh Allen played so good throughout the entire game. Really, they came out and kind of played slow, which was a little bit surprising, just because I thought, the Bills would kind of win that game easily and not really have any worries about it. But the Colts came out, gave them a problem early, and throughout the whole game, really, the third quarter, the Bills had been taking such a big lead. Then late in the game, the Colts battled back and had a drive at the end for Philip Rivers with a chance to, tie the game up and send it to overtime, but that ended with a Hail Mary that was just way too short. So throughout the game, we really saw just a ton of plays of Josh Allen getting out of the pocket, making throws on the run, or getting out of the pocket and running. They ran a lot of QB draws and stuff like that, which the Ravens should be expecting and be ready for. I think that would be a big factor in whether or not the Ravens can win this game, whether they can really lock in. They practice with Lamar Jackson, who's the best rushing quarterback in the NFL. That's hands down. That's not even an argument. Whether or not they will be able to, zone in on Josh Allen, I'm guessing they definitely will. They're definitely gonna have a game plan for it. You have to. You practice against Lamar Jackson every day. That's what you're playing against, and your backup quarterback Tyler Huntley, who you're also probably facing, also runs. So they're used to a running quarterback. Josh Allen is not as mobile as Lamar or Tyler Huntley. So the Ravens definitely should be used to this and kind of be ready for the game. Whether or not they'll stop it or what, I'm not exactly sure. The problem is Josh Allen gets out of the pocket and, makes throws. He has wide receivers who get open. Cole Beasley's probably going to be hurt. And he's really tough player. He played through injury last week, but he's really playing on one leg and he's just not healthy. He's not the same. So Gabriel Davis, their next man up, stepped up, played great for them. They have so many guys that are, know their role, and when their number gets called, they make plays. Gabriel Davis has been like the unsung hero for that team all year. He's made a ton of plays. Josh Allen's connected with him deep a ton. I definitely think that partly has to do with being covered by the number 3 corner, but still, Gabriel Davis has really had a good year for them. And then their number 1 receiver, Stephon Diggs. We all know what Stephon Diggs can do. This year, Diggs played like one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, if not the best. So Marlon Humphrey and Diggs are going to have a big matchup against each other. But like I said, the main point from this game, which will, give it to the Ravens or give it to the Bills, will be whether or not those edge rushers for the Ravens. The main reason the Ravens traded for Yannick Ngakoue was to prevent this and get more pressure. Ngakoue has played in the NFL for a long time and he's very talented. He should definitely, know how to keep Josh Allen kind of sitting in that pocket a little bit and even getting some pressure on him. If the Ravens can get sacks, there's no doubt in my mind the Ravens will win this game. But if they allow Josh Allen to get outside and make plays, there's no way they're going to be able to stop the Bills. On the other side, Matt Judon, he's the same way. He's played against the Bills before with Josh Allen. Last year when the Ravens played the Bills, Judon had a ton of pressure. The Ravens defense had a ton of pressure, and that was really the difference in the game. They forced Josh Allen to make some bad throws, overthrowing some players, and that really played a huge part in the game. So first and foremost, main thing is keeping Josh Allen in the pocket and getting some pressure on him, kind of forcing him to make some bad throws, I would say. If they can force turnovers, that will really just change the game as a whole. My second thing, I really don't think the Ravens offense will have any problem against this Bills defense. We saw Philip Rivers, and the Colts wide receivers who are very talented, creating so much space on their routes, getting wide open. Some guys had some dropping issues. So the Ravens, hopefully their wide receivers, can maybe the Ravens wide receivers can, kind of get open. Just kind of like the Colts. The Colts probably have a more talented receiving core than the Ravens do, but I think the Ravens have more vets. The Colts had Pittman, some younger guys. The Ravens got Dez Bryant, Willie Snead. And then they got some younger guys as well, with Miles Boykin, Duvernay, Hollywood, of course. So that'll be a big difference too. the Ravens definitely, we know the Ravens are going to throw the ball down the field and take some medium shots, I think. That'll be the way to win the game. Mark Andrews needs to step up for this Ravens team. If Andrews can get open a lot, I really don't see the Ravens offense having any issues with this defense. Because another thing we saw in that Colts Bills game was the run game for the Colts. Early on, the Colts were having their way running the ball. Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines ran all over this Bills defense. So I think we could see the Ravens, running some of that option and just powering it through the middle like they do with Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins and those guys. And that could really have a huge effect on this game. Another thing we see a lot in Ravens wins, and when the Ravens have success, is time of possession. The Ravens usually, coming off of a punt on a good drive, will take 8 minutes, 7 minutes, all that time to go down and end up with a touchdown. If they can do that, keep the ball to Josh Allen's hands, kind of keep him on the bench for a little while, maybe he gets a little cold or whatever, keep him on that bench. And then when he comes in, maybe he'll look a little rusty. That'll also play a huge part. Like I said before, I think that's really important for the Ravens when they win games. We saw it last year when people were looking at the Ravens as the best team in the NFL when they were 14-2, beating teams like the Bills, like the 49ers, all those kind of teams. The Ravens, were winning with ease. And this was really because time of possession. I can't stress that enough. For the Ravens in this game, you need to really control the clock, play your pace. Don't let the Bills take it. And, just do what they do. Lamar Jackson will be ready to play. I've stated on my videos before, I'm a huge Lamar Jackson fan. I think Lamar is a game changer. We all know that. You know what he can do with his legs. If he gets out of the pocket, nobody's stopping him. Wide receivers just got to get open. If the wide receivers can get open and they can catch the ball, like I said before, this Ravens offense will not have any issues with this Bills defense. Now, granted, I know the Bills have one of the best safety duos in all of the NFL with Hyde and Poyer, but I just don't see them, really stopping the Ravens. They lack a run defense. Tre'Davious White's a great corner, but besides him, Norman's not too good. So, I think definitely we will see some other receivers other than Hollywood. Lamar's going to get the ball to Hollywood Brown. He always does. That is his guy. We'll see that a ton. But I think we'll see some other receivers like Miles Boykin, Dez Bryant, maybe Devin Duvernay, Willie Snead. Those guys really step up running underneath routes, and Lamar always seems to find those guys making a play. Like I said before, though, the Ravens, I think, need to try to extend some routes because the Colts, it seemed like anytime Phillip Rivers had enough time, he made a pretty good throw and the guy was open. Like I said before, there were some drops, but Phillip Rivers, really, granted, he played a good game. I don't think he'll get the credit he deserved just because there were a ton of drops, like I said, and he made some really good throws. If he makes one or two more throws into the red zone that which should have been caught, actually, the Colts probably win that game. I can't really say that because the Bills ended up winning with ease, and the Bills may have played the game different if they were coming from behind or if the game was closer. So you never really know what would have happened. But from my point of view, I think the Colts could have outplayed the Bills if one or two of those plays changed, and then they handed to Jonathan Taylor and he has a touchdown. That changes the whole game. So like I said before, my first main point, containing Josh Allen for the Ravens defensive ends, Yannick Ngakoue and Matt Judon. That's why they have both of those guys on this team to make plays like that. And we already know how good the interior of the defensive line is. They got to get some pressure as well. Second, like I said, I do not see the Ravens having any issues, but they got to make some throws. Lamar Jackson's got to make some throws. I think he will. We'll see. We all know what Lamar can do. I don't think he'll have any issues against the Bills defense. My third biggest point for this game is for the Ravens running backs to get the ball. We saw in the first quarter and the second quarter what this Colts running back core did. They ran all over the Bills. The Bills were really having trouble stopping them, and that opened up the pass for Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is not, as talented as Lamar Jackson. So you're adding a better quarterback. Jonathan Taylor and J.K. Dobbins are neck and neck for two of the better rookie running backs in all of the NFL. So we saw what Jonathan Taylor and Naheem Hines could do. Now we got to see what Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins can do. Greg Roman last week really impressed me with his play calls. I really was surprised, because like I said before in my last video and my last Ravens video, last year Greg Roman kind of panicked and started doing stuff that the Ravens don't usually do. This year, made a few small adjustments, started throwing the ball a little bit underneath, but it was like he was reading the defense from up there, made the adjustments, the small adjustments needed, and stuck to the Ravens' gameplay, and that's why they won the game. The third thing that I think will have the biggest impact on this game is red zone defense. um, Josh Allen can make plays, like I said before, with my earlier points, containing him, not letting him get out of the pocket. But the Ravens matchups, stopping Dawson Knox in the red zone is very difficult. We see Dawson Knox catch a ton of touchdown passes and stuff like that. The Ravens will definitely need to be sound in the red zone to win this game. In Tennessee last week, we saw that. Um, and that's played a huge part. Holding the Titans to field goals really helped the Ravens win that game. If the Ravens can hold the Bills to field goals, that will be a huge, huge difference maker in the game. Like I said before, Dawson Knox. I think we could see some Jimmy Smith lined up with him, and we also could see Patrick Queen, who a lot of people critique for his coverage, but he's got speed, and I think he could be a good fit to cover Dawson Knox in the red zone. Guys like Cole Beasley, like I said, he's injured, but Cole Beasley always gets tough yards, and he does everything he can to catch the ball. So I'm not exactly sure. I think Marlon Humphrey will be guarding him a little bit because Humphrey won't be guarding Diggs all game. We see the Ravens run a lot of different defensive schemes, so Humphrey will not be guarding Stephon Diggs all game, but in the red zone, he'll be either guarding Cole Beasley in the slot or he'll be guarding Stephon Diggs, who is one of the best playmakers in the playoffs right now. So, like I said, the Ravens defense in the red zone, they need stops. And then on switching teams, the Ravens, Lamar Jackson is a crazy stat. He's got like 60 touchdowns, 0 interceptions when inside of the red zone. Turnovers will be a huge, huge factor in this game. Lamar, he made the one bad throw against Tennessee, and as soon as he made that throw, all the people were talking all bad about how he made the throw and how bad it was and all that. That's normal for Lamar Jackson. Everybody wants to hate on him. We all know that. But can he limit the turnovers in this Bills game? He needs to. Like I said before, they have one of the best safety duos in the NFL with Hyde and Poyer. So I'm not sure if we'll see too many deep, deep throws, but middle, medium throws, across the middle, 10, 15-yard throws, that will be crucial in this game. When Lamar gets into the red zone, we know he hasn't made any turnover, hasn't thrown any interceptions yet in his career. He has really good red zone numbers, but controlling the ball will be crucial. J.K. Dobbins had a few fumbles this year, and some people kind of pointed out, but J.K. Dobbins is a tough running back. He just needs to hold on the ball. And then Gus, another one, got to hold on to the ball when the Ravens have the ball to, change this game. Can the Ravens get pressure on Josh Allen and force him to make turnovers? That's another big thing. It's kind of similar to what I said about pressure earlier, what the Ravens will need to get. I'm not exactly sure how much pressure the Ravens will get. They only had one sack against the Titans, but you could take a play where Jihad Ward batted the ball back into Tannehill's hands and Tannehill went down. That's not a sack, but works exact same. And then plays like that, QB hits, forcing throwaways, stuff like that. That's exactly what the Ravens will need to do. Sometimes we see Josh Allen kind of try to make too much of a play. Lamar does the same thing, but running around trying to find somebody open, then trying to force a throw. The Ravens can force that. We know this defense forces turnovers. That's what the Ravens defense has done all year, whether it's forcing fumbles, interceptions like Marcus Peters had at the end of the game last week, or anything like that. The Ravens always force fumbles. They haven't had as many interceptions as expected this year, but I think in the postseason, we could see another one this week, forcing Josh Allen to make a bad throw. That'll be a game changer. So basically, the main point for the point 3 is controlling the ball in the red zone and playing defense in the red zone. Both teams need this, and that's why I think this game is so up in the air. It's 50-50. I personally believe the Ravens will win because I actually think the Ravens are a better team. They're better on defense than the Bills are, and offensively, they're right up there with them. I just think there's some small factors in this game that will separate one team from the other. If one team turns the ball over too much, they're going to lose the game. That's how it always works. Just one or two more turnovers, could kill the game. You're giving up a possession and you're allowing another team to score unanswered points. So it'll definitely play a huge factor. But like I said there, I believe the Ravens will end up winning this game. Like I said, all the factors will play a part. But this Ravens defense last week really impressed me against the Titans. And I think that was huge for the Ravens, taking a step forward. They kind of been worried about and dealing with all of the Ravens can't win a playoff game with Lamar, all of that. And they finally get that win against the Titans to kind of quiet all of that talk. And now they don't have to worry about any of that. Now they're moving on to the Bills game. They're going to Buffalo. That'll definitely have a factor. Heard it might snow, whatever. If it snows, it'll be Lamar's first game in the snow, but it'll be tougher for him throwing the ball. But I think it'll be much harder to tackle him when he's running full speed at you in the snow. So you could look at that both ways. But like I said, finally getting that playoff win is huge for the Ravens, and I think this team will carry the momentum into Saturday night and pull off what right now will be an upset in Buffalo and probably head to Kansas City next week. I'm not exactly sure who's going to win the Chiefs-Browns game. I'm leaning towards the Chiefs, but we know anything can happen in the playoffs. So that is it for this video. If you guys liked it, I would appreciate if you left a like. Comment your thoughts on it. If you disagree with me, I would appreciate that too. I love talking to the guys in the comments. So just comment your thoughts on this video, and I really appreciate you guys watching. And if you haven't already, a subscription, I would really appreciate that as well. I really appreciate when you guys watch these videos. So I'll probably be dropping another video following the game on Saturday, just doing a little, takeaways from the game and, what I thought changed the game and what was really the main points from the game as a whole. So that is it. And yeah, thank you guys very much for watching.